Hey there, this is Dr. Corey Gilbert, and today we're talking through the book Play the Man by Batterson, and we've talked through these a few of these 7 virtues of manhood. The first one was tough love. The second one was childlike wonder. The third, willpower, being able to kind of bet against yourself, if not decisions against yourself. And the fourth one today is raw passion. A literal translation of today's verse could read, "Do it like your life depends on it." What's the verse? Let's go there. Colossians 2:23, work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. I wish, no matter what job you have, you could see it through the lens of whoever you work for, you're not working for them. You're working for the Lord. If you're a waiter at Red Lobster, one of my favorite jobs I had years ago, you're not serving maybe people that are not too nice sometimes. You're serving the Lord. You're working for whoever your bosses are, the Lord. Can you see it that way? If you're the head of the company, you're still working for the Lord. You're working for these people. You're serving people. Oftentimes you're in a service industry serving people, but it's still for the Lord. It puts things into perspective. This raw passion. Playing the man means playing hard. This is interesting to think about. It's leaving it all out on the court. In other words, give it everything you've got. Don't just make a living, make a life. Don't just earn a paycheck. Go after the passions God has put in your heart. Halfway is no way to live. You've got to go all in. Some of the most amazing men I know are men that have maybe hard labor jobs for a career, and their place of ministry is at Awana on Wednesday nights. Their place of ministry is serving on Sunday mornings with the tech team or with worship. We need to think through this deeply. How do we live our life? What are those passions and the giftings that God's given to us? So this fourth virtue is raw passion. It's a lust for life that doesn't settle for status or status quo. It's an insatiable energy that motivates you to live each day like it's the first day and the last day of your life. How do you live every day? Are you living like that? It's an infectious enthusiasm that can come only from being filled with the Holy Spirit to overflowing. This is that ability to think outside of myself and, kind of get off myself and even bet against myself, if you will. The word enthusiasm comes from the Greek roots en and theos, meaning in God. So the more you get into God, the more of God's Spirit that gets into you, the more impassioned you become. When was the last time you got outside your comfort zone physically, spiritually, or relationally? Some of you need to go speak, lead a Sunday school class, teach. Oh, but I can't. Oh, but you're called to, and you know it in your heart. Some of you need to go work with the kids. Oh, I can't. You know that God's told you that you need to. You need to go do it. Some of you need to pick up that instrument. Oh, but I can't. Yeah, you know you can. Pick up that instrument. Lead. Be an example to not only maybe those from the stage, your own children, to your own wife. We need to be able to actually be someone who can think bigger than ourselves and get outside of our comfort zone. You tell me that the last time you were uncomfortable, or you tell me the last time you were comfortable, and I'll tell you the last time you grew. Oh, that's strong. When was the last time you were uncomfortable? It's probably the time that you grew the most. When you spoke before 1,000 plus people. Whoa. And you see you did it. I've done it. It's incredible. And it's an awesome responsibility. It is terrifying. Some of you, you're afraid to speak in front of a group of 5 or 6. Do it. You may never be asked to speak to a group bigger than that. That's okay. Do that. How about this example? Jesus may have been meek and mild, but he also had a wild side. He touched lepers, celebrated Samaritans, stopped storms, exorcised demons, ate with sinners, healed on the Sabbath, and turned funeral processions into parades. Then he died the way he lived, with pure passion. It's no coincidence that the final week of his life is synonymous with passion. Passion Week. When you follow in the footsteps of Jesus, his passion will refine you and define you. God doesn't just crucify our passions. He resurrects them and uses them for his purposes. So here's the question for us to think through on this one. What can you do today that will make you feel uncomfortable and fully alive? I bet you something came to mind. I bet you you're thinking about something, and I bet you're also freaking out a little bit, if that's really the case. That God's called you to something bigger than yourself. And yes, it might mean a career change. It might be something really big. That God's called you into missions. God's called you into the ministry, something more professional in that way. But for most of you, I bet you it's something actually seems really big, but it's a small shift. It's a new place of risk. Go there. Do it. Again, Colossians 2:23, work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. No matter what you do. If you're a coach coaching your kid's little league team, who are you really doing it for? No matter what you do, are you doing it as unto the Lord? That's an important thing. Do you live with raw passion? And I hope you have a great impact and a great life and a legacy. Bless you and your family.